Hello and welcome to today's Teacher Tip Tuesday. I'm going to be working in Cricut Design Space today, and we're going to be working with cursive fonts. Now, if you've ever worked with cursive before, you know how frustrating it can be to get it perfect in Cricut Design Space. But today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to help you out and to make this a little bit less stressful for you. So let's get started. Today I made a Google Keep note to make sure I was hitting everything I needed to for this tutorial. Now, if you like the style of these Google Keep headers, then you can go on over to my website, which is purplepapercuts.com, and go in my freebie library to get all of the headers. There are 94 pre-made for you, and there's also a tutorial on how to make your own using my theme. Okay, enough of the shameless plug. Let's get started with the tutorial. I'm going to start with fonts used. So let's go ahead and put a text box in. I'm just going to do a simple word today. All right. I'm going to make this a little bit larger so you can see it easier. I'm going to go up to my fonts over here. I'm going to open it up. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to filter so I'm only seeing my fonts. Now, I want you to promise me that you will never ever pay for fonts if you are using this for personal use. That means you're using it in your own classroom, you're using it in your home, you're making gifts for people and giving it away for free. However, if you are using this to make a product that you're going to sell, let's say it's an Etsy store product or something on TPT, then you do need to purchase your fonts using a commercial license. But if you're just using this for yourself or your classroom, then do not pay for fonts because there is a library on the internet that is completely free. There's actually several libraries out there. So I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do in order to get something downloaded. So if you find that you don't like any of the cursive fonts that are already in your computer, you can go on over to Google and I just typed in free fonts right here. And I went to the first site. Now there are lots of sites, so you can go to whatever one you want to, but I've used this one a lot. You can search by category, or you can just scroll down and look at all the pretty fonts and find one that you like. So, I'm trying to find the one I did before. I'm not seeing it. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to find a new one. Let's do Cream Peach. Oh, that one's not cursive though. Let's do... You know what? I'm so picky. Is anyone else this way? Because I am picky about my fonts. Oh, that one's pretty. Oh, that one's pretty too. Okay, I'm going to go with the first one. Now, over here, it does have two options. If you're doing it for your personal use, then you can just download it to your computer. But if you are selling your item, then you need to buy a commercial license. So I'm just going to use this for personal use, so I'm going to download it. And then you're going to open up that zipped folder. And it's going to have either an OTF or a TTF. This one actually has both. You can pick whichever one works for you. And it's going to open this preview box. All you need to do is push install. And then that's going to install into your computer. Then you're going to go over to Cricut Design Space. Make sure you remember the name. Stay at home. And then up here where it says search fonts, you're just going to type it in. Now, right now, nothing has come up. What you need to do is you need to close out the Cricut Design Space and reboot it. That's going to give Cricut Design Space the chance to get it downloaded into the system so that you can use it. So if it's not showing up, make sure you close out and relaunch it. So I'm going to actually use one that I've already downloaded from the internet. It's called Hello Daisy. And there it is. This one is one of my favorites. Okay, now, as you're noticing, this font is very spaced out. And we can fix that to make it look like a continuous line. So I'm actually going to go over to my note and cross off font used. Okay, now we're talking about letter spacing. That's the space between the letters. You see they're all very spaced out. You can use your cursive like this if you'd like to. Or you can make it one consecutive cursive line. So I'll show you how to do that. Up here in letter space, I'm going to click the down arrow, and every time I click the arrow, the letters get a little bit closer together. You just keep going until you are happy with the result. Okay, this is pretty close. As you can see, I like the way the W, the E, the L is working together, and I like the way the word come is put together. But I'm having this space between the L and the C that I don't really like. But if I keep putting my letters together, then it gets too clumpy for the rest of the word. So now my L and my C are working together, but the rest of the word is super spaced together, and it doesn't look good. So I'm going to go back over to my notes. We've already talked about letter spacing, but now we're talking about letter spacing when it's not perfect. So I have my two letters together that I had a problem with, and now it looks great there, but the rest of the word is super spaced together. So I'm going to go back to where it was, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. So what you need to do is you're going to make a copy of this text box. So now that you have two of the same word. Then I'm going to edit this first text box, and I'm going to get rid of all of the problem letters. So you see how the W, the E, the L are all working well together. But then I have my problem area starting at C. So I'm going to delete the word come. And I'm going to line this up on the line because this is going to be a very important step later. I'm going to space everything off of that E. So the E is going to be on that bold line. Now I'm going to come down to my other text box, and I'm going to delete everything that's already up here. Now I'm left with the word come. Now all you need to do is connect them together. And remember how I put that E on the line? I am spacing everything else off of that as well. So that E, the O, the C is on the line now as well. Now I have a consecutive line, so it's cursive. The L and the C are together, and then everything is spaced out as the way I like it as well. So now, if I would push make it, this would go into two separate spots because it's two separate text boxes. What you need to do is you need to weld it together so that Cricut views it as one image. So I'm going to grab this whole thing here, and I just do that by making a rectangle over top. And that selects everything in that rectangle, and I'm going to push weld. Now when I click it, it's not two consecutive text boxes anymore. It is one image. Now I cannot edit this anymore. It is viewed as an image now, so I can't make any changes to it. So make sure you are happy with whatever you're making before you weld it. Okay, let's go back over. All right, we did that. All right, now we're going to talk about overlapping letters. I talked about welding a little bit, but I wanted to show you why we weld and also why you want to weld if you're just cutting it or drawing it. So I'm actually going to get rid of this one, and we're going to do, let's do the word hello. And I'm going to use a different font just so you can watch me as I am doing the different cursives. Okay, let's do this one. There we go. All right, this one is going to be a little spacey, which is okay because if you see the E and the L, they're on different planes there. So I'm going to show you how I letter space this. I want this to be nice and snug. Actually, this one works out, doesn't it? I don't really have to edit that at all. I'm actually going to leave that space there because now it looks like a D. There we go. Okay, this is the one I'm going to work with. And if I change this line type up here to draw, you can see what I'm talking about. Do you see how these are overlapping the way that Cursive does? But when Cricut sees this, it's actually going to draw or cut out what it sees. So it's going to draw all those little lines, or it's going to cut out all those little lines in there. And then you're not going to have that nice pretty line that goes between the cursive. So if I would cut this out, I would actually have 3 different pieces here because it would cut this, and then it would cut that, and then it would all fall apart. So what you want to do after you're happy with all of the spacing, you want to go over to that weld option again. And then you can see those overlappings have gone away and you're left with the outline. And then the outline is going to look like your cursive. And this is the draw option, and I can also do this for cut as well. Change the color here so you can see. I'll do that one more time just because this is a very, very important step. Okay, we're letter spacing. Make it a little bit smaller in the spaces. All right, there we go. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to change that to, let's do blue for this one. So there you can see this is going to be a cut one. So it's going to cut right there. It's not going to be consecutive. So now this E and the L, they're going to be separated because there's a line there. So remember to get rid of that, to make all one image, one nice swoop, we're going to click that and push weld. And now it's an outline. Just like that. Okay, I think we have enough time. We do. Did that. Now I'm just going to go over curving your cursive because this is a little bit different than doing it with print. So I'm going to do cursive. All right, make this larger so you can see it better. I'm going to use a different cursive this time. Let's do need to download some more cursive fonts. There we go. Let's do Cookie. There we are. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to letter space. I believe Cookie is very well spaced out, whoever made this font. So I shouldn't have to do too much to it. All right, yep, I was right, perfect. Okay, now, I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger. I'm gonna come up here where it says curve, and you can either curve it up, like that, or you can curve it down. Now, as I'm curving, you're noticing that these spaces are getting bigger, because it needs that space to curve it. So after you're happy with your curvature, you're going to go back in and you're going to click your letter space to make those letters come back together. And as you do that, you can then go back to your curve and make it more curvy. It's a game between, it's a balance between the curve and the letter space. So that's how you do that. And then remember, once you're happy, you want to weld it. I'll make this a color so you can see. If you see, it's going to cut all those individually. Once you're happy with it, you're going to weld it. That's the last step you do. And it's going to make that nice outline of the whole thing there. But once you weld it, you can't edit it at all. I cannot make this curved. I can't change my letter spacing. So make sure that's the last step you do. I believe we did everything on my list. Yes, wonderful. Now, if you have any questions or you have an issue with cursive fonts and you can't seem to figure it out, then feel free to send me a message or drop me a comment below and I will be happy to help you. I love fonts and I love Cricut Design Space, so I am always willing to help out. If you want to drop me a line below and tell me whatever project you're working on, I would love to hear it. And if you even want to send me like a picture, you can DM me and I will be happy to see everything that you're working on. I hope this was helpful to you. And again, I am from Purple Paper Cups, and be sure to give me a follow. And I'm also everywhere else on the internet as well. So good luck and have a happy Tuesday.